The city of Hyères in the south of France is celebrating the 33rd edition of its annual Fashion, Photography and Accessories Festival. And this year is a particularly good vintage. After months of Me Too dominating headlines, never before has a fashion festival been quite so in tune with the zeitgeist of the day.
C'est un spécial femme, Pascal.
This year is dedicated to women. The 33rd edition of the Hyères Festival is an ode to women. What's particularly interesting about design right now is that it really feeds off the modern world, and that's a good thing. We have these two amazing winners, both of whom think about the planet and how we could better protect it. They call out certain practices and speak out about terrible things that are happening. This is very much a festival that is of its time. It tackles the designers' contemporary concerns.
This year, awards went exclusively to women, apart from the Grand Jury Prize, which went to a couple. Roshmi Botta and Lissy Herberg are both originally from the Caribbean and have been working together for 4 years. Their collection is an homage to normal, hard-working people.
And we get inspiration from the Caribbean culture and the Dutch culture, but also the Belgian culture where we live now. We live in Antwerp.
Antwerp, where the designers honed the techniques behind their latest collection.
For this we got inspired by fishermen from the Caribbean, and they fish. That's the income to feed their family, and we found it like really poetic the way they carry their nets, standing in the water the whole day. You see the sun coming up, the sun going down, and they're still standing in the water. You see the silhouette, the dark silhouette, and the way they carry their nets. We're trying to play with that. We knotted these fish nets, and you see like the way he's carrying this draped jacket. That's the way the fishermen carry their nets. And like this, we find it like really poetic, and we make use of ugly plastics and trying to make like beautiful things into plissé, turn ugly things into something beautiful.
Ugly plastic and beautiful fabrics.
Cool wools, yeah, we like really rich fabrics like wool, like crepe, the changeant and silk. We work with really beautiful and natural fabrics.
Roshmi Botta's grandfather was a fisherman who inspired him to protect the Caribbean's delicate ecosystem.
It's like a big middle finger to these big corporations like Shell, ruining the coral reef. So in this beautiful coral reef in the Caribbean island, they're ruining it with the oil and this stuff. So it's like a big middle finger, so hell.
The Hyères Festival receives financial support from the state's local culture budget, but it also needs private backers to survive. All the biggest names in fashion are here, including luxury giant Kering, who've supported the event for 20 years.
This is a group of people whose creativity, whose madness and desire to shake things up leads to truly extraordinary design. And I think that the freedom that these young people have at this stage of their careers leads to so many incredible things.
One of the more recent sponsors of the festival, although by no means new to the fashion game, is Australian label Woolmark.
We found the story that was matching with ours. Well, there was a compelling desire to work with natural fibre, to have a renewable approach, a transparent approach to the work they were doing. But even if you look at the way they've used wool, these designers, you'll see fabrications we couldn't possibly have imagined. I mean, really advanced technical fabrication with wool, using the dress and the drape and the feel and the hand of wool, but just using it in different ways that we couldn't even have imagined.
Esther Maness, winner of the Galeries Lafayette Prize, specialises in clothes for women of all shapes and sizes, from the smallest to the largest. Her collection projects a decidedly feminine image of power.
Let's say that I was bored of creating clothes that I, as a French size 44, couldn't wear myself. And I was bored of not being able to express myself. The same goes for my friends. I wanted to try to find a solution, to suggest a solution in any case. I was inspired by skin, the excess of it, which was the starting point for my materials. There's jesmonite, an artisanal material that cracks a little bit like skin. There are K-way materials that interact with the air and shimmer like skin. There's poplin, which has a very smooth quality. Basically, everything I use reminds me of skin. It's everywhere in my collection. For me, skin is almost like a fabric in its own right.
At any festival, the winners are of course important, but so too are the all-powerful judges, whose job it is to evaluate the potential of dozens of young, ambitious designers. But not all judges have the same priorities.
The jurors with a background in fashion, who work with fabric, who know about retail, who understand the press, they're the ones who want to know if someone can talk about the clothes. Those who wear the clothes ask about how you feel in the clothes. Some are utterly beautiful, but would you really want to wear them? Does it feel good on your body? I think it was Roland Barthes who said, clothes are sensitivity transformed into significance. And that insistence on sensitivity, well, that's quite a large responsibility for designers to shoulder.
The 2018 Hyères Festival was, however, in agreement on one thing, that the fashion of tomorrow should strive to be a response to the global challenges we all face today.